What is up, everybody? This is Dago Said here, bringing you another part of my Resident Evil Remake Hard Mode Chris walkthrough. Yeah, I'm not going all out with the real survival mode because, frankly, I really wanted to get this walkthrough done, but at the same time, I didn't want to make it a huge burden on myself. Like the last walkthrough I did, I'm not really counting the assignment 801, the Majora's Mask 3 Hearts. I pretty much went balls to the wall with that. I was spending a good 3 or 4 hours a day working on it 2 or 3 times a week, and then the rest of and that's just like gathering the footage because I had to do a practice run and then get the footage and then do it all over again. And sometimes there's a couple of situations where I had to completely redo an entire thing and it really ticked me off, and then I had to spend another couple hours commentating the whole thing, and it was just a total mess. I'm probably not going to do that to myself again. Then again, I don't foresee any game that's actually going to require me to do that. So, not really lowering my standards. I'm just sort of making it easier on myself with stuff that I'm doing. Okay, now here we have what's pretty much the first boss. And the one cool thing about this particular Resident Evil is that you can avoid a lot of the boss fights. Like there's either easy ways to kill them, or you can just completely avoid it altogether. And here, this is one of the ones where you can just completely avoid it. Now, there's only a couple of bosses you actually have to kill, but either way, it's not none of the bosses in this game, except for maybe okay, only about 2 of the bosses in this game are incredibly difficult, or not even incredibly difficult, but there's easier and harder ways to kill them, and the harder way to kill them usually ends up being the way that conserves ammo and maybe wastes a little bit of time. And ooh, I didn't expect that guy to come out. That guy gets me every time. Yeah, the harder ways to kill the bosses involve saving ammo, so expect me to be doing that. No, I don't want the freaking wooden mount. And I almost died there. That could have been it for me. But frankly, no, I did it again. It's been such a long time since I did that. I think. If you remember in one of my previous commentaries, I gave this huge speech about how I have this really bad habit of saying frankly or honestly when I'm stating the obvious, where I don't need to be frank or honest. I thought I broke that habit, but I guess I didn't. Alright guys, so what we're doing here is, now that we have the death masks, we're gonna grab one more on our way out. First, I'm gonna heal because obviously I don't want to be in danger. Because being in danger is not only does it make it completely dangerous, it also manages to you know, screw you over in terms of you run slowly. And I don't think I've pointed this out before. And yeah, bring the wind crest with me. You'll see why in a minute. When you have a weapon out, you actually seem to run more slowly. So what I always find myself doing is I unequip my weapon every time I have to walk or I'm not killing anything, because really you do shave like a minute or 2 off your final time if you do that. Alright, now in here, this is this door we opened earlier. I just walked by and opened it so I can get the armor key out of my inventory. Now what you do in this room is, I'm gonna hold on, just let me examine this thing over here. This is basically the answer to it. Her headband is green, her necklace is purple, and her bracelet is orange. So what you need to do is examine all of these stained glass windows in here, and it tells you what sort of jewelry they're wearing, and you have to get it to be the same color as the one in the picture. Not that hard, but yeah, I can never remember the exact combination of buttons to press for this, but I'm bound to figure it out eventually. So I think if you just shine both sides, it ends up being white or something like that. Yeah, so if you shine it on both sides, it always turns out to be white. So you have to should get everything right, and then you'll be fine. As simple as that. Now, one thing I have to warn you is, if you do mess up this puzzle and you still try to press the button there, then all the crows will start annoying the crap out of you. Alright, so this was some pretty good inventory management on my part. What I did is I brought the old key with the intention of using it, and yes, using that old key right there I was trying to point with my mouse. Using that old key right there is really going to save you a bunch of time, because ordinarily you'd have to run around the entire thing. But here, we're right back in the graveyard, and this is exactly where we need to be. Okay, so currently we have a full inventory, so I'm not going to grab the shotgun shells that are out there, and I'll show you exactly where they are in a second. First, we're going to go down here and fight sort of a sub-boss or a mini-boss. I'm not really sure what this guy's status is, but here you have to put all the death masks on the wall, and if you can't really tell which one goes where, you're going to have to examine it, and it'll tell you which body part is missing. I was able to see pretty well which one is which without examining it, and plus I've done this a bunch of times, so I can generally remember what it is. So it's really not that much problem. You're not going to waste too much time putting those things on the wall, and it's not. This part isn't the puzzle part, alright guys? This isn't one of those major puzzles in the game. In terms of puzzles, honestly, this Resident Evil, there's really one that actually stumped me, and I had to cheat and look it up, and it's one near way at the end of the game. Yeah, though in terms of puzzles, the Resident Evil, I think that was probably the hardest, for me at least, is tied between Code Veronica and 3. Well, actually, no, 3 wasn't that bad, but Code Veronica, a lot of some of the puzzles in there, it actually took me quite a while to figure out, and I was just like really annoyed by that one. Alright guys, so this here is a Crimson Head, but he's slightly tougher than the other ones, and I believe he's called Coffin Henry. Now, if you're doing it right, then that should take you 5 shots, and we need to have 1 shot left in our shotgun there to accomplish what we need to accomplish. And alright, and I'll show you what that is in a second. So here's a stone and metal object. Now, throughout the game we're going to have to collect 2 of those, but the second one we're not going to get until the very end of the game, and this one actually has 2 uses. The 2 stone and metal objects, they're going to be used if you were exploring the mansion and went to that area in the foyer that's sort of, you go in the back downstairs and there's this door and you hear a moaning noise from behind it. You use the 2 stone and metal objects to open that. But there's another door where you can temporarily put in a stone and metal object in order to pass through that door. And that's where we're going right now. And it'll take us to, it'll open up the second half of the game pretty much. The mansion here is probably the most difficult stretch of the game because this is where you're still getting situated. Actually, you visit the mansion one more time after this, and the 2 visits to the mansion are definitely the hardest parts of the game, and you'll definitely see why when you get there. But as for now, we're just going to progress further, and that's what we need that last shotgun shot for. Do not reload your shotgun, unequip it just to make sure you're not tempted to reload it, because you will waste 6 shots if you do so. Now I planned this out perfectly because what we're going to do is soon we're going to pick up Richard's assault shotgun that we're going to end up getting from him, and I almost did it. Well, the whole point of making sure you don't reload your shotgun is so you can save 6 shots in addition to getting the 10 shots from Richard's shotgun. It's really, there's no point in reloading your shotgun, and if you're not going to use your shotgun anymore, then why would you bother reloading it? And I completely did not know those were there. I just kind of looked, I saw a shiny thing, and I'm like, hey, what's that? Alright, so I'm going to pick up the flash grenade. Okay, they're flash grenades, not hand grenades. And I'm going to leave that first aid spray there for later. I'm going to come back and get it, but that's not the problem right now. So, okay, so here is kind of an annoying puzzle. What you're supposed to do is to turn these 2 wind things so they're facing in the opposite direction. And I always seem to manage to mess that up. One of them has to face west, I believe. Yeah, this one faced west, and the other one you have to get it to face in the opposite direction. But the one kind of annoying thing that they did here that I actually didn't notice the first time I played through this game is they seem to have switched up the order of this one. You see, it's the directions are all the wrong direction and stuff like that. So, you know, and I don't know why that's still, yeah, they tried to throw you off, and, oh, gee, what's going on here? Yeah, get them both to face that way, and I don't know why they bothered tilting it because the one said facing west. I don't understand what this puzzle is trying to say, but I know how to do it. Alright, guys? So basically just do what I did there, and you should be able to get past it. Alright, now we're going to go and get probably the most... Yeah, definitely the most powerful item Chris can get in his game, which is the Magnum. And this is the reason why I brought the Windcrest with me, because I planned this out so I can perfectly manage my inventory for this. And I'm really surprised I was able to do this, because usually space is never my friend. I always manage to screw it up, and don't worry about those crows. They really don't do that much damage to you. You know, actually the funny story, I was playing Resident Evil 0, and I actually managed to get killed by a crow. And I think that's kind of pathetic, but by far, Resident Evil 0 is the hardest game in the series. Like, I played through on normal difficulty, which I can manage. But the thing is, it took me about 11 hours to beat that game just on normal difficulty. I'm like, crap. Okay, what's the time limit for you know, an A rank or whatever the highest rank is? I think it's S, because yeah, that game ranks you too. So I'm thinking, okay, it must be like 6 or 7. No, it's like 4, and I'm like, ugh. There's no way I can possibly do that. So if you ever expect to see a Resident Evil 0 walkthrough from me in the future, it's gonna be in the future, like really distant future. Okay, guys. I mean, my plan is to eventually do a walkthrough of every old school Resident Evil game. I don't want to do a walkthrough of Resident Evil 5 because that's really overdone, and there's going to be so many better walkthroughs than mine for that one. And Resident Evil 5, it kind of annoys me because the way I play, I insist on making it more difficult because I feel the game does everything it can to make itself easier, and I really don't like that. So, yeah, I'll try to do a walkthrough of every old Resident Evil game. If I can even manage to get my hands on a copy of Resident Evil 2, I still haven't found one that's reasonably priced. So I'm probably going to have to go and buy a $60, $70 new copy, because GameStop isn't selling used copies anymore. Or at least I checked online and said it's not available anywhere. So I think they stopped selling GameCube games altogether. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, yeah, so if I get a copy of Resident Evil 2, I'll certainly do that. And I don't trust buying a used thing off of Amazon. But yeah, okay, so this is a good stopping point. Next update, we'll go to the next area in the game. This is basically just one of the 5 places I save in the game, and one of them isn't even necessary. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Rate, comment, subscribe, you know, all that crap. Okay, see you guys next time.